Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about the prenatal development. But before we start our topic for today, allow me first to introduce myself. I am John Luis Bauzon, currently taking up Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in English program at Pangasinan Merchant Marine Academy. And I will be your presenter for today. So first, let us know our learning objectives. So by the end of this lesson, you are anticipated to first, to familiarize with the stages of prenatal development. And second, to give the teratology and hazards of prenatal development. To start our topic for today, I want you to get a piece of paper and let's have a fun activity. So our game is called Arrange Me to Know Me. So all you need to do is to arrange the jumbled letters for you to be able to know what is the word is. And you can start now. So I guess you guys are already done, so let us check your answers. So the first one is conception, the second one is germinal, the third one is fetus, the fourth one is fertilization, and the fifth one is postpartum. So I assume that you guys already got the correct answers. So as you can see, these words are connected with our lessons for today, wherein we are going to tackle in the next slides. So here we have the prenatal period or the stages of prenatal development. Human life begins at conception. So what is conception? So conception is the union of male sperm cell and a female egg cell to form a new organism. So it is a combination of father's sperm cell and mother's egg cell. So the stages of prenatal development. So as you can see, the stages are divided into three periods, namely germinal period, the second one is embryonic period, and the third one is fetal period. So let us now tackle the germinal period. So germinal period happens 2 weeks after conception. This includes the creation of zygote, continued cell division, and the attachment of zygote to the uterine wall. In this stage, it also builds a rapid cell division, and by the end of the stage, the fertilized egg, called zygote, becomes a blastocyst and plant itself in the wall of the uterus. So here you can see the illustration of the development during the germinal period. So from the process of ovulation up to the process of implantation of the blastocyst. So this is a day 1 to 9 process. So here the picture show us how the fertilized egg looks like after 24 to 30 hours. Next, we have 36 hours after fertilization. And next, we have the picture that shows 48 hours after fertilization. So this is basically 2 days. Next one is the 72 hours after the fertilization, 3 days. Next in line, we have the 96 hours after fertilization. So this is 4 days. So here we can see the development of the blastocyst during the 4 to 5 days. So here we can see the different parts of the blastocyst called the blastocele, the trophoblast, and the inner cell mass or called the embryoblast. So in this stage, we are able to know the inner part layer of our blastocyst. Next, in this picture, we're able to see how the blastocyst looks like during the 6 to 7 days. So in this picture, we are able to see the 11 to 15 days process or development. So here we can see in the pink area, we can now see the inside wall of the mother's uterus. So, and in the yellow area, we have the trophoblast cells and the inner cell mass. And also, we're now able to identify the blastocyst cavity. So we are now done with the first period, which is the germinal period. And now let us explore the embryonic period. Embryonic period. So embryonic period happens 2 to 8 weeks after the conception. So here, the fertilized egg called zygote now becomes embryo. In this stage, we can now see the different cell differentiation intensifies and life support system for embryo to develop. And also, in this stage or in this period, organs appear and organs starts to develop. So in this picture, we are able to see the first month or the first week of the development of the embryo of the mother's womb. So in this, at the end of the 4 weeks, we are able to see that the embryo is 1/4 inch in the length. And also the heart, the digestive system, backbone, and spinal cord are begin to form or starts to form. So next is the placenta, or sometimes called afterbirth, begins to develop. And also the single fertilized egg is now 10,000 times larger than the size at conception. So as you can see, from a smaller tiny particle to a 10 times larger in this embryonic period. And now this picture shows us the development or how it looks during the 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and 8 weeks. So as you can see, it is starting to develop or it's starting to grow. So in this picture, we are now able to see the development of the embryo of the mother's womb during the 2nd month or the 8 weeks. So at the 8 weeks or at the end of the 8 weeks, we are now able to see that the embryo is now 1 1/8 inches in length. And some body parts like eyes, nose, lips, tongue, ears, and teeth starts to form. And also the embryo is now moving, although the mother cannot yet feel that it moves. And here, the heart starts to function. So here in this 8 weeks of development, some of the body parts are now forming and functioning. And the embryo is now moving, although the mother cannot feel it yet. So in this diagram or picture, we're now able to see the different layers of the embryo. So the first layer we have is the endoderm layers. So now it becomes the digestive system, the liver, the pancreas, and the lungs for the inner layer. And the second layer, we have the mesoderm layer. It becomes the circulatory system, the lungs, the skeletal system, and the muscular system. And also, the last layer is what we call the ectoderm layer, which becomes the hair, the nails, the skin, and the nervous system. So now, let us know what is organogenesis. So organogenesis is the process of organ formation during the first 2 months of the prenatal development. So this is the process of the organ formation. So as these 3 layers form, the endoderm, the ectoderm, and the mesoderm, the support system for the embryo develop rapidly, which are, the first one is the placenta, the second one is the umbilical cord, and the third one is the amnion. In this picture, we are now seeing the placenta, or what we call the afterbirth. So next in line, we're able to see the umbilical cord. And here we are now able to see the amnion. So we are done with the embryonic period. And now let us study the fetal period. So fetal period happens 2 to 7 months after the conception. So here we can now see the growth and development continue dramatically during this period. In this picture, we are able to see the 3 months after the conception. So in 3 months period, fetus is about 3 inches long, and it has become more active by moving its arms and legs, opens and closes its mouth, and move its head. And also, the genitals can now be identified as male or female. So here in this period of development, the fetus is now moving his or her arms and legs. And in this period, we can now identify the genitals, or we can now identify if that fetus is a girl or a boy. So at this period, we are now able to distinguish the following. First is the face. Second, the forehead, the eyelids, the nose, the chin, the upper and the lower arms, the hands, and the lower limbs. Next, we have the 4 months or the 16 weeks development of the fetus in the mother's womb. So in this stage, the fetus is about 6 inches long, and it has a stronger prenatal reflexes. That is why the first arm and the feet movement are felt by the mother. So here in this period, the fetus is now moving his arms and feet, and that is why the mother can feel that the fetus is already kicking. Next, we have the 5 months or the 20 weeks period. So at this period, the fetus is about 12 inches long. So basically, it is like a ruler size. So here, the structures of the skin have formed, and the fetus is more active. So here, maybe it is very active when it comes to, it moves a lot. So next, we have the 6 months or the 24 weeks. So in this period, fetus is about 14 inches long, and the eyes and the eyelids are now completely formed. And also, fine layer of hair covers the head. So basically, the head was covered with the hair. And also, grasping reflex present and irregular movements occur. Next is we have the 7th month or the 28 weeks. So at this stage, as you can see, the fetus is now 16 inches long. So it is growing. And here, the taste buds have developed. And fat layers are forming. And organs are now maturing. And also, the skin is still wrinkled and red. And also, if born at this time, he or she will be considered a premature baby and require a special care. So, like what others says, that if the baby is given birth by 7 months, it could be a premature, or sometimes they call it a crucial period, wherein the baby has a chances to have a 50-50 life. So next in line, we have the 9 months or the 38 weeks. So at this period, fetus is about 19 to 20 inches long. And now the lungs are mature. So baby is now fully developed and can survive outside the mother's body. So here, the skin is now colored pink and smooth. So he or she settles down lower in the abdomen in preparation for birth and may seem less active. So here, this is the last stage wherein the baby is now ready to live outside the mother's womb. So, and the baby is now really mature. So now that we're through with the stages of the prenatal development, let us now proceed to the teratology and hazards to prenatal development. So first, let us identify or let us know what is teratology. So teratology is the field that investigates the causes of congenital birth defects. Teratogen is that which causes birth defects. So it comes from the Greek word tera, which means monster. So on the next slides are the cluster of hazards to prenatal development. So the first one is the prescription and non-prescription drugs. So here, antibiotic is an example of prescription drug that can be harmful. So example of harmful non-prescription drugs are diet pills, aspirin, coffee, thalidomide, or a tranquilizer to alleviate their morning sickness, and cocaine. So the negative effects of this one is, number one is deformitis, reduced birth weight, length and head circumference, impaired motor development, impaired information processing, and poor attention skills. So, if you are pregnant, we should be mindful that any kind of drugs are very harmful. So we need to be careful in order for us to have a safe and healthy pregnancy. So next, we have the psychoactive drugs. So this includes nicotine, caffeine, and illegal drugs like marijuana, cocaine, and heroin. So the negative effects of this one are, first, let us know the negative effects of caffeine. So preterm deliveries and with lower birth weights babies. So if the mother really loves to drink coffee during her pregnancy, it could have a negative effect for the child. And next is alcohol. Alcohol can cause fetal alcohol syndrome, or what we call the FAS, wherein it causes facial deformities and defective limbs, face, heart, and below average in intelligence. And your baby could also be a mentally retarded. So, mother should be always mindful that she must avoid intaking or drinking alcohol because it could be a reason for the negative effect, to have a negative effect for her baby. The third one is smoking. So the negative effect of smoking is preterm birth and lower birth weights. So if the mother is smoking, expect that it will have a negative effect for her baby. And also, not only if the mother is smoking, so a mother should also avoid secondhand smoke for the safety of her baby. And next is maternal heroin addicts. So smaller and average size of babies with more incidence of toxemia, premature separation of placenta, and hemorrhaging after birth, and breech deliveries. So here, if the mother is addicted in drugs like heroin and cocaine, expect that it will give a severe negative effects not only to the mother but also to the baby. The third one is the environmental hazards. So this includes radiation in job sites and x-rays, environmental pollutants, toxic waste, and prolonged exposure to heat in saunas and tubs. So the negative effects of these are, first one is the negative effects of radiation. So it could lead to a chromosomal abnormalities for the baby. Next is carbon monoxide, mercury, and lead. It could give a negative effect on mental development. And next is the prolonged exposure to heat in saunas and tubs. These create fever that endangers the fetus, birth defects, and it should lead also, or it could lead also to fetal death. So next, let us proceed to the other maternal factors such as rubella, the German measles, syphilis, genital herpes, AIDS, malnutrition, high anxiety and stress, and age. So the negative effects of these are, first, let us know the negative effects of the rubella. So it could lead to death, malformations, including mental retardation, blindness, and heart problem. Next is the syphilis. It damages like eye lesions and skin lesions. Next is the herpes. So infected birth canal, and also it can lead to death and brain damage. So it is divided into three classifications. So during gestation, across the placenta, and during delivery through contact with maternal blood or fluids. Next is postpartum, after birth, through breastfeeding. So if the mother has a genital herpes during her pregnancy, it could lead to the mother experience postpartum if she is breastfeeding her baby. Next is stress. Stress could affect or can lead premature birth to the baby, and it could reduce the birth weight. And next is malnutrition. So malnutrition can cause inadequate growth in the fetus. So this kind of diseases or viruses can really affect and it could be harmful not only for the mother but also for the baby. So as long as we can secure ourselves to be healthy, especially for the mothers, they should be mindful that they need to be safe during their pregnancy for them to be able to avoid incidents like this. Next, and the last one, is the paternal factors. So, father exposures to lead, radiation, certain pesticides, and petrochemicals may cause abnormalities in sperm that lead to miscarriage or diseases such as childhood cancer. Older fathers also may place their offspring at risk for certain defects. So here, in pregnancy or if you and your partner is preparing or planning to have a baby, you should also or should I say both of you should be healthy, because a father is also a contributor for you to be able to have a baby, because like what we've tackled a while ago, that conception is the union of the combination of father's sperm cell in a mother egg cell to create a new organism, which is your baby. So the father should also be healthy for him to be able to provide a healthy and good sperm. And also, older fathers may also place their offspring at risk for certain defects. So it is or it should be the father should have a baby in a right age, not too young and not also too late. And that's the end of my topic for today. But before we end this session, let's have a quiz for we to be able to know what we've learned in this session. So I want you to get a piece of paper and answer the given question. And also you can screenshot the questions for you to be able to send it to me, your answers, later after our session. So this is our quiz for today. So we have modified true or false. So number 1, constipation is the union of male sperm cell and female egg cell to produce a new organism. I repeat, constipation is the union of male sperm cell and female egg cell to produce a new organism. So the underlined word there is constipation. Number 2, we have embryonic period happens 2 weeks after conception. I repeat, embryonic period happens 2 weeks after conception. So the underlined word there is embryonic. Number 3, by the end of the germinal period, the fertilized egg becomes a embryo and plants itself in the uterine wall. I repeat, by the end of the germinal period, the fertilized egg becomes embryo and plants itself to the uterine wall. So the underlined word there is embryo. Number 4, psychology is the field that investigates the causes of congenital birth defects. I repeat, psychology is the field that investigates the causes of the congenital defects. So the underlined word there is psychology. Number 5, the mesoderm layer becomes the digestive system, liver, pancreas, and lungs. I repeat, The mesoderm layer becomes the digestive system, liver, pancreas, and lungs. So the underlined word there is mesoderm layer. Let's proceed to item number 6. The ectoderm layer becomes the hair, nails, skin, and nervous system. I repeat, the ectoderm layer becomes the hair, nails, skin, and the nervous system. So the underlined word there is ectoderm layer. Number 7. The endoderm layer becomes the circulatory system, lungs, skeletal system, and muscular system. I repeat, the endoderm layer becomes the circulatory system, lungs, skeletal system, and muscular system. The underlined word there is endoderm's layer. Number 8. Fetal period happens 2 to 7 months after conception. I repeat, fetal period happens 2 to 7 months after conception. So the underlined word there is 2 to 7. Number 8. Mother exposure to lead, radiation, certain pesticides, and petrochemicals may cause abnormalities in sperm that lead to miscarriage or diseases such as childhood cancer. I repeat, mother exposure to lead, radiation, certain pesticides, and petrochemicals may cause abnormalities in sperm that lead to miscarriage or diseases such as childhood cancer. So the underlined word there is mother. Number 10. Psychoactive drugs includes radiation in job sites and X-rays, environmental pollutants, toxic waste, and prolonged exposure to heat in saunas and tubs. I repeat, psychoactive drugs includes radiation in job sites and X-rays, environmental pollutants, toxic waste, and prolonged exposure to heat in saunas and tubs. So the underlined word there is psychoactive drugs. And that ends our session for today. If you are done answering your quiz, you can now send it to me via Messenger or via Gmail. So before I end my session for today, allow me first to read the famous quotation of Robert Cassay that, from the beginning, each human embryo has its own unique genetic identity. So just like us, we are special in our individual differences, and our individual differences make us more special and unique. Always remember that we are special just the way we are. Thank you so much and have a good day.